Up next on End of the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Full Grown Nick. This is brewed in the state of Texas by Tupps Beer. It says that it is traditionally untraditional. And this is an Imperial Stout brewed with spices, coming in at 12.1% ABV. Check it out. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome to the Day Beer Review. And today we are looking at Full Grown Nick. This is an Imperial Stout brewed with spices, coming in at 12.1% ABV. And this is brewed by Tupps Brewery in McKinney, Texas. Now I do not know where McKinney, Texas is, but an Imperial Stout brewed with spices, coming in at this ABV, what I'm looking for. Now, it doesn't say what spices, so have to be honest, if this beer comes out to be like hot, like pepper hot, I'm probably not gonna like it because that just doesn't do it for me. I like spicy food. I don't, for some reason, like spicy beer. What can you do? Now, I haven't gotten any sort of like aroma that's like filled the bar, so we'll see. Gonna use the trusty Guinness glass. And this pours a lighter brown than I would have expected for an Imperial Stout. This is more of a porter brown. I don't know if that's a real color or not, but I'm still not, it does say brewed with spices, so I'm sort of expecting spiciness. I'm not getting it yet. Okay. It's gonna sound crazy, but it smells like an Imperial Stout with like a hint of like clove to it. Yeah, almost like a cinnamony clove. That's interesting. Now, this was this beer actually was brought to me courtesy of Will down in Texas, who sent up a bunch of beers, and I'm assuming this is a Christmas beer because it does look like the artwork on there, if you can see it, is sort of like a Santa or an elf, and there does seem to be like some Christmas lights on it. That and the red and the green on the can, I figure. Will sent me these beers a ways back. They've been in the fridge and I've just gotten to these reviews. All right, let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, there's something there. It's almost like a cinnamony, banana-y, clovey type of smell. All right. Okay. Wait a second. There's a weird bitterness to this that I'm not really fond of that's on the back end of it. Front end, it's that good roastiness of an Imperial Stout mixed in with what I think is sort of like clove. When you go into a spice cabinet and like you're making, like when I make, what is that called? Barbacoa. I use clove in the barbacoa. And that's sort of what it smells like. That's freshly ground clove. It's very muted. It's very far back behind the roast of that sort of like, Imperial Stout. There's something else there, but I can't really get it because, like I said, there's this back end bitterness that is now becoming cumulative. And again, it's not a bad beer. And if you're one of those people who like that sort of like hoppy bitterness on the back end, it's not quite hoppiness. It's just sort of like the bitterness of like, God, I wish I could figure this one flavor out. There's an aroma here almost like, those fruit snack things that you pull out, the Laffy Taffies, like the banana one? There's like a hint of this flavor that smells like somebody who's chewing on a Laffy Taffy just walked by you. Like, it's so faint, but it's there. But like I said, there's this sort of back end bitterness on this beer. Yeah, I have to tell you, this one does not really do it for me. I think it had potential. And I'll tell you something, if you're somebody who likes a little bit more bitterness to the beer, this might be sort of what you're going for. Because the sort of clove flavor to it and the roastiness is actually quite nice. The only thing that's really turning me off to it is sort of that cumulative bitterness that keeps building up in the back of my mouth. Is it a well-crafted beer? I think it is, especially considering, if I'm not mistaken, this is like 12.1% ABV, and I'm not getting a tremendous amount of alcohol burn here. So, I mean, to me, that's normally the sign of a brewer that really knows what they're doing. So, you know, like the bitter end on this one, I'm assuming is the intention of the brewer. It's just not my flavor profile. Would I try it again? You know, I probably wouldn't try this one again. Would I try other stuff from this brewery? I definitely would, because it does seem like they put together a decent beer. Again, this is just not a beer that sort of fit into my flavor profiles. So again, would I recommend Full Grown Nick to somebody? I would. You know, again, if you're looking for an Imperial Stout with a high ABV that's got a good roastiness with a little bit of clove, and you don't mind that back end bitterness, I think you're gonna love this. If you're somebody who finds yourself sort of like going like with that sort of like dry bitterness that comes with like, you know, a super hoppy IPA, that's sort of what this reminds me on the back end, and it's what I don't particularly care about it. Care for when it comes to this beer. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, folks, I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe. I'd love to hear anything you have to say about this. Once again, I would like to thank Will for the beer. It is always exciting to taste different stuff from around the country. And, you know, the beer he sent me, the vast majority of it, I absolutely loved. And even the ones that I didn't love because they weren't exactly my type of, you know, Imperial Stout, or they didn't have my sort of flavor profile that I like, they were still really, really well-crafted, good beers to try out. Anyway, folks, if you liked it, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you next time on End of the Day Beer Review. Cheers.